name's Teresa. Today I'm going to be taking you through a short 21-minute restorative yoga sequence. Restorative yoga is all about calming the mind, de-stressing, slowing your practice down, and really taking the time out to reward your body for your training efforts throughout the week. So what you'll need is a basic yoga mat, a brick, or a block. I prefer to use the block, but either or is perfect. So we're going to start with the balasana, your child's pose. Toes are touching at the back, wiggling your bum to your heels, extending your hands out in front of you, remember fingers engaged, and gently relax and lower your forehead down. Centering your breathing. In each pose we're going to be holding for 3 to 5 breaths, breathing in through the nose and exhale through the nose. So really trying to hear the air moving and the breath moving in the back of the throat. And holding down. For next inhale, you're going to press up onto all fours for me, taking a neutral spine to start. So ensuring your hands are stacked comfortably under your shoulders, knees are about hip width, and feet flat, toes flat on the floor. You're going to go into your cat and cow, so inhale to curl up, and exhale to round the spine out. Inhale up, so notice my chin is the last to lift, and on the exhale as I round out, it's the last to tap in towards my chest. 3 more of each. Two more. Last one. Widening the knees, we're going to go back to child's pose, but this time as you go down, you're going to place both arms across the body, stretching out to the one side and forward, place to your mat. Again, 5 deep breaths here. The next inhale coming up, you're going to walk both hands across to the opposite side and gently release the forehead to the mat. Two more breaths, keep your forehead down. Walk the hands back to the center, unhinge the toes, and gently pushing up into your downward dog. But because this is your first, we're gently walking it out, bending the knees, twisting through the hips, shaking the head from side to side, up and down, a few yes and no's. Press the weight to the heels, drop both knees down, pushing the tailbone up to the sky, chest to legs, lowering down, pressing up. Two more, drop down, press back up, walk it out if you need to. Remember, there's nothing wrong with keeping your knees bent if you don't feel like you have the flexibility. One more, drop down, press back up. Inhale, look to your fingers. You're going to step your right foot between your hands, lowering the knee down for me, and hinge the toes, and gently Placing both hands on your knee. Rounding the shoulders, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, and really feel that stretch through the back hip flexor. So tilting and dropping the hips forward as low as you can go. Again, 5 breaths in this position. When you're ready, you're going to lift the back leg, grabbing it with the same hand and just gently stretching in towards you. If you struggle a little bit with this one, it's quite nice to take a strap and wrap it around the foot. So not overstraining into the hip flexor, just adding an additional release. Again, make sure that the front knee isn't pushing over your toes. Gently release the foot, place it down. You're going to shift all the weight onto the back leg, straightening the front leg. Toes come up. Inhale for me. Exhale, fold forward. Again, if you need a slight bend in the knee, that's absolutely fine. You can actually take a brick or a block, place it just behind, gives you a tiny little bit of extra height, which gives you a little bit more space if your hamstrings are quite tight. Inhale to create space, exhale to fold forward. Remember, we're always aiming to take the chest forward. It's not about rounding into the upper spine. Hands on the inside of the foot, gently pressing up. If you use the brick or the block, you can remove it. And we're going to take pigeon pose. So crossing the leg in front as high as you can get it. The heel as close to your groin as possible. Leg extended out behind, flat on the toes, toes are straight. Make sure that this hip to leg is in a nice straight line. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you can drop to your forearms, or maybe you can go right the way down and place your head, your forehead to the mat. Two more breaths. On your forehead, pressing gently up, bringing the hands slightly closer, tucking the toes under, press the leg back nice and quietly, placing the right foot down, stepping the left foot all the way through the hands. So same sequence on the opposite side, so we're going to straighten the toes, bringing the hands onto the knee, gentle back bend. Remember, pressing the weight forward through that front hip, lowering down, gauging in the hip flexor, aligning and making sure the knee isn't over the front toes. Two more breaths. And gently reaching for that back foot and dropping the hip forward. Take your gaze to the tip of your nose. Steady your breathing, shoulders relaxed. Gently release. So remember, what you do on the one side, you always do on the other side. So I'm going to take my brick again. I'm shifting the weight behind, placing it just between my heel and my glute. Unhinging the toes. Foot flexed. Inhale up and exhale, grabbing just past the foot. So remember, if needs be, it's totally fine to have a slight little bend in this knee. If you can't reach for the feet, you go for the shins, even hands just above the knee. But the idea again is length through the spine, taking the chest to the leg and not collapsing forward. You have about 3 breaths left. Gently pressing up. Remove the brick from behind, transferring into your pigeon pose. So left leg crosses in front, comes across. And again, same variation. So if you stayed up on your hands, you're working with that. If you lower down onto your forearms, working towards that. Or if you can, and you're comfortable, dropping the forehead to the mat. Three more breaths. Gently pressing up, walking the hands back, coming onto the toes on the back leg, pressing the heel through, quietly stepping back up into your downward facing dog. So heels are driving to the floor, hands are pressing around, shoulders released and relaxed, releasing the neck. Three more breaths. Inhale to look up at the fingertips. Exhale, stepping forward and taking a seated position. So I'm going to use my block for this next pose, Baddha Konasana A. So just tucking it under, releasing the flesh. I'm going to take a diamond shape with my feet, heels quite close to my body, peeling the toes away. Inhale up and exhale, taking the spine forward. So the elbows are actually released, the chin stays tucked in, and the spine is nice and straight. So again, remember, it's all about keeping the spine straight, bringing the chest forward and not rounding and slumping. 2 more breaths. Your next inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, placing the feet slightly further away from the body. Same diamond pattern with the legs, peeling the toes out. Inhale up and exhale, this time going all the way forward, rounding through the spine and holding, keeping the elbows released. Two more breaths. Next inhale, slowly coming up, roll the shoulders, other way, coming off of the block, knees are bent, and gently, very slowly, with control, rolling your spine vertebra by vertebra at a time, all the way to the mat. You're going to walk your heels towards you so that you can feel them touch in line with your middle finger. Gently pressing up and through, keeping the neck straight, looking up, hips are up, and then slowly lowering down vertebra by vertebra at a time. 3 more of those for me. Racing up, keeping the glutes just slightly engaged, not tension. Quads are active, inner thighs are active, and gently rolling down. One more. and gently lowering down. So for the last one, you're going to grab your brick. So depending on your practice and your flexibility, you can either place it short way down on the lowest back or for extra height, lengthways up. So same movement, gently pressing up. You're going to plant it just on the small of your back and lowering down where you feel like it's supported. Hands at your side and gently holding. So it's good to readjust. Just check in and see where those heels are. They like to creep away in this one. So always gauging that your middle finger can touch to your heels. If you feel like you can and you feel like you've got a slight release but you want a little bit more of the pressure in the vertebra, coming up onto your tippy toes, placing the brick lengthways and lowering back down. Again, just checking in. Might need to walk those heels a little bit closer and staying here. You're going to hold this position for 5 breaths. If you have time, it's a great one to actually hold for as long as 5 to 10 minutes. And concentrate on that inhale that you can actually see the belly rise, and exhale, releasing down. 3 more breaths. So if you need to, coming up on the tippy toes, just creating a tiny little bit more height so you can remove the brick, placing it at your side, and very gently rolling down and relaxing. So dropping the left leg down, you're going to hug the right leg into the chest for me, drawing it in. Taking the right leg, crossing it over your body, extending your right arm out at 90 degrees and looking over the shoulder. Gently release, place the right leg down, hug the left leg into the chest, drawing it in. Taking the left leg, crossing over at 90 degrees, extending the left arm up. We're going to keep the shoulders planted flat on the floor for this. And gently release. Creating the figure 4, so we're going to cross the right leg over the left leg. Important that the ankle is off of the knee, the foot, both feet stay flexed. Looping the hands between the left leg, keep the left toes engaged, and gently pulling towards you. Looking straight up at your feet. Gently release, place the left foot down, swapping sides, so crossing the left over the right, pressing the knee away, loop the hands through the right leg, right toes are flexed, and gently drawing in towards your chest. Release the grip, lower the foot down, and we're going to close with Supta Baddha Konasana. So that same diamond foot position that we had earlier, you can place a block or a brick just under your lower back. It's quite a nice sensation, just gives a little bit more release, a little bit more opening into the hips, which are specifically tight for those of us who do a lot of weight training and running. Let the knees gently pull to the floor, palms are facing up, softening your gaze, closing your eyes even, and 5 deep breaths. With each deep breath, you should feel the knees lower a little bit more to the ground and just release and opening. Again, this posture you can hold if you have time for longer. When you're ready, bringing the knees together, removing the brick or block, slowly rolling down, and you can take your Shavasana pose, your corpse pose. So, feet come out, flopping out to the sides, palms are turned up. Again, hands slightly away from the body. Wiggle the hips till you find a comfortable position. Soften your gaze. I would suggest even closing your eyes. If you're a little bit chilly, now's a good time to cover yourself with a blanket or a jersey. And you can stay here for anything from 5 breaths to 10 minutes, depending on your time allowance. Remember, when you're ready and you're finished, you want to roll onto your right hand side into the fetal position and gently pushing up